Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, I'm covering a couple of ballets this year. But I intended to review, and in fact, I did shoot this and cover a full YouTube video of me observing a Sleeping Beauty ballet. But it was done by the Russians. Obviously, we're not really interested in dealing with the Russians right now. As much as I thoroughly support the art, Russia's a mass and invading the Ukraine right now. So after doing it, I'm like, let's see if we can do something else. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to kind of talk about, at least give you kind of an overview by, noticeably I'm looking at Wikipedia, of the Sleeping Beauty Ballet, which unfortunately I can't escape Russians. There's nothing you can do to fully escape the Russians, even though I'm certainly not covering the Nutcracker right now. But it was originally, but Sleeping Beauty did not belong to the Russians. It doesn't. It's a fantasy story, and it's been done by dozens of people. The video that I shot and that I watched was done by the Russians. So I'm going to give a kind of a brief overview of what this ballet is, and then I'm going to go in and talk a little bit about Kathryn Morgan, who was a ballet dancer at the New York City Ballet. She did reach the level of soloist before having to retire. I think she was about 22 because of a thyroid issue that she was dealing with. She got very, very sick, and it took a while to figure out what the heck was going on. She did later become a soloist in the Miami Ballet for half a season, right before COVID, and she now runs a ballet studio with her husband, Chris Sellers, who used to work at the Pacific Northwest, I think, Ballet in Utah. He was a dancer there, then he became a teacher, and now they've opened their own studio. And she does run Kathryn Morgan and Friends, where they're doing a lot of stuff. But prior to her stint as a soloist with the Miami City Ballet, she did a couple of these where she's reviewing her old NYB ballet performances, and she's critiquing herself. She does commentary. She also explains a little bit about what's going on. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about what she does there. But first, let's kind of give a brief Wikipedia overview of what the heck is this ballet. Now, it is a classical ballet. Most people are familiar with the basic Sleeping Beauty story, where you have a baby is born, you have the fairies, one of them gets ticked off and cursed her. Basically, on her 16th birthday, she's going to get pricked by a spindle and die. And one of the fairies, there's still one left, essentially can't make it go away, but she basically makes Cinderella or Snow White fall into a deep sleep, only to be wakened by true love's kiss. As a story, this all happens. Prince shows up, kisses the girl, they get married. That's the basic story. That's just the way it is. That's just the very, very basic overview. So according to Wikipedia, now I'm just going to kind of look at, this is the way. Now, Kathryn Morgan doesn't cover this part of the ballet, which is the prologue, which is the christening, which is baby, curse, everything. The part that she does, and then it goes on to, she does have the opening, which includes a part of the ballet called the Rose Adagio, which is essentially, this is her 16th birthday. It's dancing. She's introducing to men. That's again where the Rose Adagio comes in, and eventually she is given the spindle and falls asleep. And then you move into Act 2, where she has the vision, and yes, where basically I don't know whether it's basically it's something to fill in between. She falls asleep and Prince shows up. Basically it shows kind of what the prince come looking for her, and I think one of at least the lilac fairy shows him and chooses him to awaken Aurora and brings him to her. And then the Act 3, which is the wedding parada. So that's essentially, you have a whole bunch of fairies. Mind you, this Kathryn Morgan focuses only on her own performances here. So she's just kind of, she's talking about herself and how she acts on stage. Now, I think most of these are done when she's about 21, 22, and I do believe she's sick at this point. So they're very, very interesting. Again, she does the, and I will link all of these, she does the Rose Adagio, which is the first scene, which I remember correctly. I love watching these because it's so funny to listen to her observe herself. She's like, yeah, I screwed up here, and I screwed up here. But it's like the first act where you meet Aurora is very, very difficult because you're shot out of a cannon, I believe is what she says. It's like all of a sudden, like she's waiting the wings and you have to run onto the stage. And then it's pretty much nonstop. It's extremely difficult. With the Rose Adagio, she does talk about balancing in a lot of classical ballets where everything is in threes. So yeah, and how it's like, she's not getting the leg up, or she's supposed to go into fifth. And it's kind of fun to watch her and how much she complains about props. I may cover her Romeo and Juliet videos later, which is very, very funny. But they're enjoyable to watch. And then she does the vision scene where she kind of explains that and how she's moving around again. She's focusing on herself, and then she does the wedding parada. Which is very, very different. And she talks about how in the Rose Adagio in the beginning, she's very innocent, and she talks about the acting on stage, which you really do have to do because it's pantomime. You're miming. You have to use your face and your hands and your movements to express emotion and tell the story. So, and I do believe she explains some of the hand movements in the wedding parada. So these are very, very interesting. They're not that long. I think most of them are about under 20 minutes. So if you're looking to kind of understand at least some portions of this ballet specifically, again, I will link her and you can check out the rest. She does Romeo and Juliet, The Sleeping Beauty, and I think she does Swan Lake. And then she does Nutcracker. So those are the ones that she critiques. Because those are the ones that she has videos of. She may do more. Definitely check out her channel. Again, I'll link that in the description below as well, so you can have a look. But it's really something that I find very, very interesting. These are some of my favorite videos of hers. She also has she's been, I think a lot of these are like 5 years old. So this was a long time ago. This was when she was still very, very sick. It was before she's actually on her second marriage. Her first one fell apart really, really quick. And she disappeared for a while for good reason. No, she does not elaborate. But that was right before then she ended up at the city of, she ended up with Miami City Ballet. And then she leaves them and she explains those reasons. And then she ended up getting married. This is being shot in 2022. She got married in like September of this year. So, and they're opening they've opened their own studios, which is really, really cool. I very much admire her. But these are still some of my favorite videos because it's funny to watch her critique herself. Like, nope, I should be doing that, and I should be doing that, and she gives various different pieces of advice. I think some of her other videos where she did some sort of Arabian thing. This was when she was like 15. And she's like, oh yeah, you're long, you're lanky, and you have all sorts of energy and flexibility. That changes as you get older. So they're very interesting. Again, there are 3 videos where she does do the Rose Adagio, the dream sequence, and then she does the wedding parada in that order. So it's really, really interesting. I will always mention this. I saw the Cinderella ballet in person this past October. I will probably see Nutcracker next year. I'm going to look with I think I call it the Phoenix the ballet. It's actually Ballet Arizona. That's my local ballet company. I'm going to try to see a little bit more of them because I really, really did enjoy it. If you get a chance to see a ballet in person, please do. I I highly recommend if your local company has a Facebook presence, log on. That's how I know when their season is coming, and I get really good seats. And I think mine were like 87. I went with my sister and my niece, who was 10. And again, it was fantastic. But again, back to these videos. They're really, really fun. They're really entertaining. They're really a different look into the ballet world. And it gives you some interesting perspective on what's going on inside of a dancer's head and how she's basically critiquing herself and what she should be doing and things you wouldn't really know. And again, it's really, really kind of funny. She decides like, no. And she talks about like, yeah, at this point, your shoes are dead. And you're like, I'm almost done. You're completely exhausted. So they're really, really fun. So that's really the end of this video. Be sure to check out the rest of the channel. I'm covering again, I did Cinderella twice. I did a YouTube video that I watched, and then I talked about my experience in person. So, and then I did Snow White, which I think was in Mexico. And I'm doing this one here. I think those are the 4 ballets I'm covering this year. I may try to do more. I may cover Nutcracker later this year, just in case I see it in person. We will see. Maybe this will be something that I throw in. So, because it is nearing the end of 2022. I actually have 2023 pretty much planned out, and I'm working on it. This is like one of the last videos for a specific month. I think it's February. Could be March. I don't remember. My brain also doesn't work. I have a 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old getting me up at the crack of dawn in the morning. And by the crack of dawn in the morning, I mean the middle of the night. Because 3-year-olds, and then she's asking why questions like crazy. So again, and it's also the Christmas season, so my brain does not work. It does not work. So, but I'm covering a bunch of other stuff. This is also counteracting Princess Diaries, the big series, one of the multiple series that I'm covering this year. In 2023, I'm covering the Princess Diaries. Then I'm covering 2 quartets by Tamora Pierce. Then we're going into the Guardians of Ga'Hoole. That lasts a while. That gets you through summer. And then I'm going to jump back to Meg Cabot for a short series that's more middle school. And then I'm going back to Kathryn Morgan. And I will probably continue doing a lot of book series, along with, again, dozens of other stuff. I'm covering Caribbeans, LGBTQ+ this year. I always have a tendency to cover Ireland in March. And a bunch of other stuff. Like I'm covering vaccines this year as well. So those are all coming up. And then I will cover travel stuff as it comes up. I really should add some more board games when I have time. So one of these days, those will come. The board games and anything extra that are not books or some sort of media related like this come out Wednesdays. Otherwise, my book reviews come out Mondays. My film and stuff like this come out Fridays. Normally, you have a minimum of 2 videos every week. I'm at 8 o'clock in the morning every week. Normally more. So, like and subscribe. Check out what I've got. Leave a positive comment if you have one. And